Hi, my name is Caddy Burns. I'm a painter, printmaker, and textile artist. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a fuzzy felted houseplant for your home. Okay, so here are materials. First up we have this really transparent silk fabric. I've always used 100% silk. I hear you can use cheesecloth for this, but I'm not 100% sure on this. It's important that you have this really open, transparent weave for the felting process, so that's important. Next up, we just have a couple of different types of wool. We have two different thicknesses of yarns. This one's going to be really thick. We'll use that for kind of coloring in the lines, and then this smaller wool we're going to use to do outlines. Next up, we just have a spray bottle that's going to have your hot soapy water in it. You don't have to have a spray bottle, but I just have that laying around. And then this will be bubble wrap to wrap up our felt. And then the twine is just to tie it up when you are going to be rolling the felt. Okay, so this is just some stuff you'll probably have at home anyways. Just scissors, dish soap, and a towel. Okay, so we have our soap laid out here. It's just on top of a layer of bubble wrap. The edges might get a little frayed if you have to cut it, but that's not a big deal. It's going to get really warped anyways. So we're just going to start with some of our wool yarn here, and we are going to lay that out, start kind of building an outline. So this is going to be the pot for our plant. So here I am just laying out the yarn for that, cutting it into a nice little outline, and then I'm going to take that really thick wool roving, I'm going to kind of pull it apart and use that to fill in the pot here. Okay, so now I'm just laying out the rest of my design here. You can just have fun with this. You can use a combination of the roving and the yarn to make kind of an outline on your design. So just lay it out however you'd like. It's going to get a little warped in the felting process, so don't be too precious with this part. So I have very carefully moved my artwork outside. It can get a little bit messy doing this inside, so if you have a space to work outside, that's great. If you don't, just put down a towel or plastic or something, it should be okay. I have this soapy hot water. This is going to be what causes the wool fibers to open up and bind to the silk. So we have our bubble wrap on the bottom. We're gonna want another piece of bubble wrap that is the same size. That's gonna go on top. And then you're just gonna take your soapy water and you're going to saturate your artwork. You're gonna wanna get it really wet. All of the fibers need to be completely saturated. So we're just spraying down everything, and you're actually going to want to take your hands and use them to kind of work the water down into the fibers. Especially where the fibers are a little bit thicker, it's going to be difficult to get the water to saturate them. So you're going to want to use your fingers to kind of massage the water into the wool fibers. Once everything is totally saturated and all the soapy water is worked into your artwork, you're ready for the next step. So you're just going to roll up the bubble wrap super tightly and put that other bubble wrap on top, and just gonna roll it like a little sushi roll, and then tie it off with your twine or rubber band or whatever you have to do that. And now you can go ahead and start rolling it back and forth. So this next part is pretty straightforward. You're just rolling this back and forth on the ground. We're going to start out with a little bit of pressure and then gradually add more pressure as time goes on. I rolled this one for about 15 minutes. I have been rolling this back and forth for 15 minutes. I'm going to cut this open and see how we're doing. These. You see the bubble wrap has become like pretty loose. It'll shift around while you're rolling it back and forth in the felting process, and that is good and okay. You're kind of wanting the cloth and the wool fibers to, like, you know, rub up against each other and shift past each other with a lot of pressure. So that is going to cause this to become a little loose. We can just re-roll it. That is a good thing. Hopefully that means it's felting well. So I'm going to gently unravel this. Okay, so it's flattened out a lot. That's great. So what we're going to do now is called a pinch test. Basically just to see how stuck together the fibers have gotten at this point. You're just going to take a little bit and pinch it and pull it. Pinch it. Okay, so that part is looking pretty good. So basically, if you pinch your wool and pull it away from the silk, you're going to want them to be stuck together. If you take the wool and you pull it up and it just pulls off of your silk, then you know that you have a little bit more of the rolling part to do to felt the cloth better, because that means it hasn't quite felted. It hasn't stuck down to the silk yet. You can see down here where it's starting to get a little warped and squished. That's just from rolling it. That's fine. Yeah, I think this needs a little bit more time, but it's pretty close. So I'm maybe gonna do 5 or 10 more minutes of rolling, and then it should be good. Okay, so I rolled out my felt for another 4 or 5 minutes, and it's looking pretty good. I just wanted to show y'all the pinch test up close. So just take a little bit. You want to pinch it. It's not separating from this silk at all. It's sticking to it. See, that's stuck down on there. It's not going anywhere. That's how you know that you're ready to move on to the next step. So I have removed my little guy from the bubble wrap. It's looking pretty good. Everything is stuck. So the next part of this process is called the fulling process. And we're just going to take this little guy, bunch him up. I know it's kind of scary, but the wool fibers should be bound together by now, so your design isn't going anywhere. It's going to be stuck down. And you're going to take this and you're going to drop it like that. And you're just going to keep doing that for several times. I would just count to 100 and just do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And once it starts, so your fibers are going to start kind of puckering and like drawing together. He's going to get a little wrinkly. That's how you know that this process is working. And as you start to see it wrinkle and shrink up in places, then you can put more force. You can just like, you know, throw it down like that. But just start with dropping it like this. Okay, so this filling process is your last step. Once you're all done with that, you can just rinse out the dish soap from your work, and then you can either lay it flat to dry or hang it to dry. And once it is all dry, you have your new favorite houseplant to hang on your wall. Ta-da! Look at him. Look how cute he is.